Motivation, that old chestnut, the perennial holy grail that people are looking for. How often have you thought to yourself or even spoken out loud to somebody and said, I'm looking for motivation, or I need the motivation? Or perhaps someone has said to you, or maybe you said to yourself, you're not motivated enough, or you don't have the motivation to this. You know, the saying that you can bring a horse to the water, but I can't make the horse drink. And what some people end up doing, worse than not being able to make the horse drink, is enforcing the horse to drink. They end up drowning the horse. How many of you are drowned horses? So you feel like you're a drowning horse right now. And not just drowning by other people's actions, but drowning because of your own actions. So let's take a look at this motivation. The word motivation, to motivate, the Latin root word of motivate comes from the definition, or is defined as to move. In other words, if you are motivated, you will move. If you're not moving, then we know there's a sign of a lack of, or perhaps missing motivation. So I want you to think about an area in your life right now where you feel perhaps you need a little bit of motivation, or some area in your life right now where you feel that with some boost to your motivation, you actually get moving, get more done, and have the success and the fulfillment that you say is important to you in your life, and that you are seeking. Because I'm going to be talking just about one of many aspects of motivation here today, because when we take a look at motivation to move you towards something, number one reason why people don't move themselves towards something or a particular destination is because they don't know what that something is. They don't know what the destination looks like. You may have seen one of my previous videos about goal setting. You might want to take a look at the 7-stage impact goal setting if you haven't already done so. But I want to take a look at the second reason why people don't have what they want. And the reason why a lot of people don't have what they want, or they don't get to where they say they want to go to, is because there isn't a big why. Why? WHY. Now, oftentimes as a coach, when I work with someone, that will definitely be one of the questions I come up with when they tell me about what their goals or what their objectives of the coaching is, or what specific outcome that they seek. And inevitably, I'll ask them about why. Why do you want this? Why is this important to you? And I would hear something really broad, something really superficial. For example, they'll say, "I want to make more money. I want to become a millionaire." So that, and the reason why is so that I can have the lifestyle that I want, and I can look after my parents, and I can send my children to the nice schools. I'm like, yeah, well, I hear that, but I'm still not getting it. Right. Another example is people go, "Oh, I want to lose weight and have a great body." And I go, "Okay, why do you want that?" "Well, so that I can, fit into my dresses, or I can, feel good about myself." I go, "Okay, great. I hear you, but I still don't get you." So what we're going to do is I want you to get down to beyond really the superficial, beyond the headlines of the why, and really dig deep into what is the commitment towards. Because you see, if your why isn't strong enough, then whenever obstacles come up, you would surrender, you would give up, and you would stop. And so, if your why is big enough and your why is strong enough, you would knock down any obstacles that come your way. Because whenever the obstacles show up, it becomes a threat. It becomes a threat to you in terms of your journey to pursue somebody with whom you want to have a great relationship. It will come as a threat in your journey to go make more money or to grow your business. It will come to you as a threat. It will threaten the activities that you say that you need to engage in so that you have a great body. And so ultimately what happens is when we're faced with a threat, we would naturally instinctively seek to protect ourselves. In other words, now we are committed to protection. And so what happens now, I have a commitment to a different, a competitive commitment to my original goal. Let me put that to you across in more concrete terms. Let's say I say, hey, I'm committed to growing my business, and I'm committed to getting more sales in. And part of the commitment is me getting up and meeting more people, engaging in more enrolling conversations, to get into more sales meetings, and then to ask for the sale. So that I say I'm committed to. However, at the moment I encounter an obstacle might come in the form of my prospect asking questions, my prospect seemingly objecting to my price, or wanting more, or asking too many questions, or seemingly rejecting me. What happens immediately from that is I go into a self preservation mode. I want to protect my ego. I want to protect myself from being rejected. And so what happens now, I have a competing commitment. And the commitment is now I'm committed to feeling safe. I'm committed to feeling good about myself. I'm committed to keeping my face so that I don't get rejected. And if that commitment to protecting my face, protecting my ego is bigger than my commitment to making more money, well, then you know what's going to happen. Likewise, if my commitment to making more money is bigger and stronger than my commitment to protect myself or to keep my face or to protect my reputation, then similarly, we know what the actions are going to derive from that. So that's why we need to be so clear about why you say you want these things. Because the bigger the why makes the how a lot easier. The bigger the why, the easier the how. Secondly, why we want to go into the why here. Let me give you an example here. Many years ago, I was coaching this gentleman who he was at that time in his 20s, and he was a physical fitness instructor. And he wanted to grow his business, and that was the work that he engaged me to help him in. And at the end of one of our sessions, I asked him. I said, how, out of curiosity, when did you first get interested in exercise and healthy living and in becoming fit, right? Because he was in very good shape, and so you should be if you are a physical training instructor. And he said, well, it began, I think, really consciously for him, that he could remember was when he was 11 years old. And at that time, as that young boy, he had a very close relationship with both his father and his grandfather, and three generations of male kind of bonding, and he was very close to both of them. And what happened at 11 years old was when he lost his grandfather. His grandfather became really ill, spent a great deal of time in the hospital, and he was in the hospital actually holding his grandfather's hand as his grandfather's life slipped away from him. And as a young boy, well, for anybody, never mind being a young boy, it was a very sad, almost traumatic experience for him to see his beloved grandfather pass on right in front of him. And even at the age, he knew that a big part of the reason why his grandfather was in hospital was a very poor lifestyle. His grandfather would, smoke a great deal, drink a great deal, didn't really take care of his health, and that was the contributing factor, all right, to his earlier passing. Subsequently, after his grandfather's funeral, he would go to his father. There was the only adult man he had in his life whom he trusted, whom he loved, whom he was close to. And he used to tell his father, say, Dad, could you quit smoking, right? Like just stop smoking. Don't go the way of grandpapa did. And the father will always come up with a whole bunch of reasons, excuses, and justifications, saying things like, you know, I'm trying, but I can't. It's I've been smoking for so many years. It's really difficult. I've tried cutting down, and I can't do this. And genuinely, the father had an intention, a genuine intention to actually want to be healthy and quit smoking. But each time he says, "No, I can't do this. It's difficult for me," and there are all these issues and problems. And time again, this young boy at that time, he would say, just try harder, or try something else, or do something else, or try, and just to no avail. And then one day, out of just sheer desperation, he was in his bedroom. He decided he was going to write his father a letter, and it was a short letter. And in that short letter, he detailed how he was so close and felt so close to both his father and grandfather, and how painful it was, uh, so difficult it was for him to see his grandfather, slip away in his hands. And as he shared his feelings, he wrapped up the letter with a simple couple of lines. He said, I'm still young. I can't take care of my own self. I can't live on my own self yet. I need a dad. I need you, dad. Love. He signed off. He folded up that letter, went around to his father's room, slipped it under his door, and then went to bed. And he said the next day his father never mentioned that letter. The father never talked about the fact that he had received a letter. They never discussed the contents of the letter. But he said the next day onwards, he never saw his father smoke ever again. You would imagine reading the letter would have given his father a very strong sense of a why. Quitting smoking wasn't just a great idea. Quitting smoking wasn't just for saving money. Quitting smoking wasn't just so that I'll have a healthier lifestyle. There was a much deeply rooted sense of a why, and that was his love for his son and his son's love for him. Dig deep, my friends. Get down to your why. When you have an absolute clarity and conviction of your why, you become virtually unstoppable. That is to say, you would move. That motivation now becomes a symptom. In other words, we're not waiting for motivation to arrive to cause us to move. Your deep why is going to drive you. And then the motivation is just a symptom of that. I hope this has been useful for you. And my invitation to you is to pause in a moment and dig deep into your why and get moving, my friends.